Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 4th annual Habitat for Humanity Huron Valley Breakfast, Framing the Future. I hope you've had a chance to make yourself a delicious cup of coffee, tea, scone, or a nice stack of pancakes, courtesy of our friends at Zingerman's and Arbor Teas. Please settle in with your breakfast and enjoy our program. My name is Todd Clark, and I'm the president of the Habitat Board of Directors, and I will be your MC this morning. I joined the board because I believe that affordable housing is a right for all people, and I can't think of a better way to spend my time than helping advance that cause. Habitat is important to me because it represents the manifestation of love to all people through its mission of providing affordable housing as a right for people in need. Thank you for attending today and joining us in supporting Habitat. We hope you and your families are staying healthy and safe. Today, we are bringing the community together to learn about the Habitat mission and its impact on the lives of local families. During these unprecedented times, we must remember that housing is essential. Housing provides safety, stability, and shelter. Housing is also an integral part of healthcare. The ability to stay safer at home or shelter in place relies on the condition that you have an adequate place to take shelter in. While many take this for granted, too many of our fellow community members lack access to safe, decent, and affordable housing. Given these trying times, when health and wellness is of paramount concern, affordable housing is essential to the well-being of individuals, families, and our community as a whole. But before we jump right in, we want to take a minute to thank our generous breakfast sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, Old National Bank. Our matching gift sponsors, Don and Gail Redding and the Habitat board members. Our contractor sponsors, Bank of Ann Arbor and Retirement Income Solutions. And our journeyman sponsors, Level One Bank and Domino's. And last but not least, our apprentice sponsors, Absolute Title and DTE Energy. There are several ways that you can give today. Click the donate button below, take a picture of the QR code with your phone, or simply write a check and mail it to us using the address you see on this page. Thanks to the gracious matching gift sponsors, your gift will have double impact today. There will be plenty of time at the end of the program for you to make your donation, and the link will be sent to everyone following the event. So grab your coffee or tea and get comfortable. We want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation. For many of us, 2020 was a difficult year, filled with loss, struggle, and pain. Despite these challenges, thanks to the community support, hope was restored for 9 hardworking families who celebrated the end of 2020 in their new, safe, and affordable homes. This morning, you will hear from one homeowner who closed on her home in June of 2018. At Habitat for Humanity, we know that affordable home ownership can transform lives and the community in which we live, by breaking the cycle of generational poverty and providing a hand up to families in need. That means 1 in 6 families are denied the personal and economic stability that safe, decent, and affordable housing provides. 1 in 6 families are forced to make impossible choices: a safe home, nutritious food on the table, health care, access to good schools, reliable transportation. Which one would you choose? Habitat knows the complexities that surround the cost of home ownership. Since 1989, our affiliate has been creating affordable home ownership opportunities for deserving families in partnership with our community. And the need now has never been so great. So many people in our community, including many of you, believe that Habitat is a giveaway program, a rental program, or even a program that serves the homeless. So who do we serve and how? Our homeowners are retail workers, tellers at your bank, teacher aides, school system employees, university employees, and students. They are home health care workers, managers at your favorite restaurant or store. In fact, you most likely know or interact with a Habitat homeowner on a regular basis. Candidates complete an education curriculum designed to provide skills and knowledge to be a successful homeowner. These are tools that a traditional home buyer may not have. They learn how to budget, how to stay away from predatory lending, and how to be a good neighbor. our homeowners purchased their homes from Habitat with a low-interest mortgage, and their mortgage payments support the home builds of future homeowners, creating a perpetual cycle of community. In addition, we are in a unique position to be able to help our homeowners after they close on their mortgages to ensure they remain stable. This was especially important during the pandemic, and we were able to assist those impacted by furloughs and job loss when we created the Mortgage Relief Program. This program was designed to help cover the mortgage payments of our current homeowners who had suffered a financial hardship related to COVID-19. Without Habitat, these families would most likely never own their own home. They make too much to qualify for government assistance, yet they make too little to qualify for a traditional mortgage. Through the Habitat program, the low-interest loan is a hand up that allows them to change the trajectory of their families' lives. We see this transformation impact everyone in the family and beyond. Grades increase for the children, graduation becomes a clearer reality, health improves, promotions are earned, relationships strengthened, and our community benefits. This morning, we need your help. Help us continue to educate the community on our programs. Help us continue to recruit volunteers and donors to fulfill the Habitat mission. And help us encourage eligible families to apply for the program. We know that with you by our side, we can do this. Thank you again for tuning in. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Robin Campbell. Robin is a new member of the board of directors, but is no stranger to Habitat. Robin became a Habitat homeowner in 2003. Take it away, Robin.
Thank you, Todd. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us this morning and supporting a cause that is near and dear to my heart. My name is Robin Campbell, and like Todd said, I am a Habitat board member and a proud Habitat homeowner. I serve on the Habitat board because I wanted to have the opportunity to give back to Habitat. Habitat has made such a large difference in our lives and the quality of our lives that I wanted to do something to support Habitat. I volunteer there because I believe that Habitat provides a necessary service in our community in particular, where the cost of housing is expensive. And if you are a low-income working family, it can be prohibitive in becoming homeowners. Habitat's mission is to provide simple, decent, and affordable homes. This morning, I'd like to tell you more about the mission of Habitat for Humanity, to share our impact in Washtenaw County and internationally, and to encourage you to join this important work. The mission of Habitat is to enrich Washtenaw County through a legacy of affordable home ownership for low-income families. Your support today will assist us in continuing to reach our home ownership and affiliate goals. Our home ownership goals today look very different from our goals of the past. Habitat for Humanity of Huron Valley was founded in 1989, and we started with the initial Habitat plan of building new homes from the ground up. The organization moved towards purchasing vacant, foreclosed homes and renovating them instead of building new homes. This not only helped the economy, but it helped to save neighborhoods by decreasing the amount of abandoned homes and blight and keeping communities active and viable. To date, our Habitat affiliate has built or renovated over 250 homes and served or assisted more than 5,000 households in Washtenaw County. While Habitat is best known for our home ownership program, we do so much more. In 2020, through our community development program, we served, assisted, and engaged with over 2,200 residents and community partners. Through our home improvement program, We served 540 homeowners since 1989, and with our Habitat Education program, we provided free group classes in several areas of learning. The Home Improvement Program's mission is to help existing homeowners sustain affordable home ownership by reducing utility costs and assisting with home maintenance needs. We work with homeowners who already own their homes, but who need help to maintain that home or to upgrade to energy-efficient appliances. Take a look at the impact we're making with these programs in Washtenaw County. These maps represent our projects since the inception of the program in 2013. Roof replacement, aging in place, veteran critical repair, exterior improvement, weatherization, furnace and insulation, furnace replacement, furnace tune-up, and refrigerator replacements. In this final image of refrigerator replacements, as impressive as this looks, the program that we used to create these maps was limited in its ability to truly represent the impact we made. This map shows only 2,000 of the 5,000 plus refrigerators that have been replaced since 2013. Another way we're reducing utility costs is through the LED light bulb replacement program. This is a perfect example of how we're helping to educate homeowners on how to reduce cost. The impact of our home ownership, home improvement, and habitat education programs are obvious to the participants whose lives we are affecting. But our work has an even greater impact on entire neighborhoods. Through our community development program, we work with residents in 3 Ypsilanti Township neighborhoods: Galt Village, West Willow, and Sugarbrook. We're making a long-term commitment to these neighborhoods and supporting the residents to identify priorities for improvement and stabilization. Finally, while all of this amazing work is going on here in Washtenaw County, we're also committed to bettering lives and communities internationally. For every home we renovate, we sponsor one in either Guatemala or Haiti. To date, we've sent more than $825,000 to build homes and to help more than 206 families abroad. But that's not all. Every February, we send a team to Guatemala to make a difference and to do our part to eliminate poverty housing. Whether we're working in Guatemala or in Ypsilanti, the joy on the faces of the families and the appreciation in their words is the same. Finally, I'm so thankful that you decided to join us today to help us frame the future for even more Habitat households. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Adriana Ponce and her daughter, Isala. They have been Habitat homeowners since 2018. Adriana is currently a graduate student in sociology at the University of Michigan and a graduate student staff assistant for the Rackham Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Certificate Program. Welcome, Adriana.
Thank you, Robin, for that introduction. So the moment that I realized I'm home was actually when I applied for Habitat for Humanity. And so I reached out, and Habitat was so willing to work with me to make my dream come true. 2 Habitat members, a staff member and a board member, actually personally came out to my home and walked me through the process. And so part of the feeling of like I'm home was knowing that a program like Habitat was willing to work with me every step of the way. And they wanted the experience to be a helpful one for me.
Yeah, it was really easy to get comfy in the house. I could tell I was definitely gonna love that house.
You knew that you were gonna love the house?
Yeah, I knew I was gonna feel like it was home.
So at the time that I took the MSU Extension Home Education Program,
we were living in Ann Arbor.
We were living in Ann Arbor in graduate student housing. And while it was a great opportunity, it was completely out of my budget. I am a single mom, and it was just digging me further into debt.
So we went to Habitat.
Yep, so exactly. We went to Habitat. So our home, it was a home previously owned. So what Habitat did is they tore everything down to the stilts and then built it back up. So everything is new. Drywall, windows, everything except the hardwood floor. We were able to keep the nice hardwood floor. So we have a 3-bedroom ranch home. We have a nice yard where Isela was able to have a play set and she can ride her bike around, and I can finally have a dog because I wasn't able to do that as a child. If you want to partner with Habitat, there are certain requirements. There is a 125-hour sweat equity requirement, 25-hour course requirement, and 100 additional hours. The coursework was extremely helpful. One, it allowed me to learn how to be a good neighbor, and it also provided me with education on home maintenance.
Having my own house is very nice because I got to paint my walls, I got to do so many things. Knowing that in an apartment I would only live there for a certain amount of years, my house you could decorate it the way you want. It's owning a house, you get to do so many more things, and it's a lot of fun to go through that adventure.
I agree. The adventure of going through Habitat provided us with the permanency that Isela is talking about, and about building our memories in this home, our own family history. Like she said, little things like putting up pictures on the wall and not feeling like maybe I shouldn't do this because in a year or two I'm going to have to take them down. It's also the sense of pride of knowing that you own something and that you're working towards financial freedom. Also during this pandemic, a lot of us have been affected, and so I was able to turn the extra room into a home office where I've been able to work so that I can pay the bills, and I've also made progress on my dissertation. And so I know a lot of other families in our community have unfortunately been displaced, and a lot of us are still feeling the effects of the 2008 Great Recession. When I came out of college, a lot of my peers were unable to find work, and I think among my friends, I'm the only one that owns a home. So knowing that I'm building that generational equity for Isela makes me feel really proud and happy. Living in a Habitat home helps me feel hopeful about the future. It helps me feel like my finances will continue to improve and I will continue to build wealth. And so the future is bright. I'm happy and I'm grateful.
Wow, what an amazing message. Thank you, Adriana and Isela, for sharing your Habitat story and experiences with us. Now that you heard from Robin and Adriana firsthand, you may have a new sense of the kind of impact our programs have on the community. You might also better understand what home truly means. Please take a moment and consider what home means to you. To me, home is a shelter that allows me to develop into my fullest potential. It's a place of safety, comfort, and security. Home is a structure where one's personal and educational growth can happen inherently. It's a place that one anticipates returning to at the end of every day for rest and renewal. In this time of COVID-19, for many of us, it is also a place where we spend our days and our nights. It's a place where we connect with loved ones to find comfort, a place where we work, play, rest, and begin the new day. Everyone deserves a decent and safe place to call home. This is why I'm proud to serve on the Habitat Board of Directors and take part in our important work. This is why I'm also thankful that you have joined me today to learn and support us in our mission of providing safe, decent, and affordable homes here in Washtenaw County. Now, It is my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, Robert E. Quinn. Bob has generously offered his time and talent to bring us inspiration about the value and benefit that owning a home can provide. He is Professor Emeritus at the University of Michigan Ross School of Business, where his research and writing focuses on purpose, leadership, culture, and change. Please welcome Bob Quinn.
Hi, I'm Bob Quinn, and I'd like to talk to you today about the word home. It's a word we use every day, but I think the word carries deep meaning that we seldom think about. I'd like to share with you several personal stories that might bring this word to life. When I was about 45, I read a book about writing episodes from our lives, recording them and saving them, and I began to do that, and it was very therapeutic. I really enjoyed it. After about a year, I sat down to write one day, and I began to cry. This had not happened before. It was clear this story was different. I'd like to share the story with you. It was called The Prophecy. His chest was rotted out by tuberculosis, and he was going to die. He looked at the bedstead, and there was a picture on it of a little girl. She was 2 years old, and he had watched them lower her into the ground, a victim of encephalitis. As he lay there, he asked himself, what did all this mean? There's no house. There's no insurance policy. There's nothing, just a wife and a new baby. Today, at lunch, they would bring the new baby home. After lunch, he would leave, and he would go to the hospital. When people arrived, they took him to the table. At the end of lunch, he stood up. His wife tried to assist, but he waved her off. He walked towards the nursery. He looked at the little boy in the crib, grabbed his foot, and kissed it. As he walked out, his wife looked at him very expectantly. He looked at her and said, I think our boy is going to make his mark in the world. They helped him with his coat. He left. He went to the hospital, and he never returned. Now, that story was not a fictional story. It was a story that had been told to me hundreds of times by my mother. She would grow very serious and tell that story. Until I was 45 years old, I had no idea what the impact of that story was. At 45, I'm crying like a baby. Why? Because all those years, I listened to that story told from a female point of view, my mother's account. As I wrote that day, something miraculous happened. I was telling the story from the view of my father, and for the first time in my life, my father was speaking. What was on his mind? There were two things on his mind. One was a sense of deep pain. There was no home. He didn't own a house. There was no insurance policy. He was a poor man. He had nothing to leave. The other thing on his mind was almost the opposite. It was a deep sense of hope. Our boy is going to make his mark in the world. And that's the way he left this planet. That was deeply embedded in me, and it took many years for me to understand that. The neighborhood that I grew up in was a neighborhood that people often didn't get out of. It's very hard to explain how I could end up teaching as a professor at the University of Michigan. I shouldn't be there. And the question is, why am I there? And the answer is, deeply imprinted in my unconscious mind was a sentence. Our boy is going to make his mark in the world. That was a script that drove me through a lot of hard times, and I didn't even know it was going on. Now let's fast forward a number of years. I was in graduate school. I had a wife and 2 children. We were incredibly poor. We didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. And we reached a point where we couldn't buy essentials, and we needed some money. And I made a very, very hard decision. It was the decision to take a full-time job while in graduate school. Everybody said it couldn't be done. But I took the job, and it provided just enough money that we were able to go on and do what we needed to do. In the middle of that experience, someone at the university approached me and asked me to do a teaching internship that was paid. They wanted me to teach a class. The clear answer to that was no. I had not a single minute in my life. I thought about it one night, and the next morning I called the person and said, yes, I'll take the job. Now, why would I do such a thing? Well, when we finished graduate school and went to our first job, the first thing we did is we bought a home. And we bought that home with the money from that second job. It was really clear to me that it was very important to own a home. Now the question is why? And the answer is that same imprinting. I was carrying my father's pain. And owning that home was incredibly important. When we own a home, it changes our intergenerational identity. Now, what in the world does that mean? I was in St. Louis, and I had an Uber driver. We began to chat, and he told me about his day job. It was a very tough, blue-collar day job. Then, he spent 8 hours after that driving Uber. I said, that's a lot of work. He said, well, I have a daughter in law school. I have a son in medical school. They're the first two people in the entire history of our family to graduate from college, and now they're in professional school. He said, these two jobs aren't work. They're a source of joy. I am incredibly grateful for these two jobs because I'm changing the history of my family. That's an intergenerational perspective. Now, I'd like you to think about the Habitat for Humanity. What is it that they actually do? Well, we'd say they build homes. It's a nice charity. I want to suggest to you that the Habitat for Humanity is not just building a building that someone lives in. The Habitat for Humanity is helping people build their own homes. It's changing the identity, not just of the person that's going to own the home, but the person's children and the children's children and their children. We're making a universal change, a change that's going to last forever. It's an intergenerational alteration in identity. That is an incredible impact in the human endeavor. Now, I'd like to offer one final thought about what's going on with the habitat. There's an opportunity for you and I to make a difference in people's lives. Well, all charities do that, don't they? When you and I feel that we are making a meaningful contribution, that is when we have a higher purpose, something happens to us. Now, this is not opinion, this is from science. You become physically healthier. There are diseases you're less likely to get. Your social relationships become enriched. You behave differently. You perform at higher levels. The outcomes in your life are different, including making more money in your life. These are all scientific facts. When you live a life of higher purpose, when you feel that you're changing the world, it changes you. I want to suggest to you that when you make a contribution to the Habitat for Humanity, you're not just helping someone build a house. You're changing identities across generations, and you're opening the door to live a more meaningful life, which means the people around you are going to live more meaningful lives. I hope that you find that an attractive thought. Now, Todd, back to you.
Thank you, Bob. That was really inspiring. There are so many ways for you to support our fellow Washtenaw County residents. No previous skills or experiences are required, whether it's pounding nails, painting, caulking, pulling up old carpet or flooring, putting price tags on items in our restore, or doing yard cleanup. I cannot imagine a more impactful way in which anyone can participate to make Washtenaw County a more livable community for people with lower incomes. When you logged on this morning, most of you didn't know what we were going to ask you for in terms of financial support. You probably joined us because a friend invited you or because you are familiar with Habitat and wanted to learn more. But now that you've heard the full Habitat for Humanity story and have seen the impact of our programs, it is my privilege to ask you to make a financial investment in our success. This is not just an investment in Habitat for Humanity. It's truly an investment in our community. And I think you can agree that this is one of the most important investments that any of us can make. Our goal is to create a community where everyone has a decent place to live, and we need your help. The health and safety of our loved ones is a top priority. I believe in the Habitat mission of providing safe, decent, and affordable homes, and I ask you to join me as a donor. Your donation will support deserving families like the Campbells and the Pounceys to achieve the American dream. We truly appreciate whatever level of support you can provide. If you have any other gifts, talents, or ideas to share, please contact us anytime or join us on the Zoom call following this program to share them with a member of our staff. When you give at one of the levels we've shared here, you are creating affordable homeownership in Washtenaw County. Please take a moment to click on the donate button below or use the QR code with your phone to complete your donation. If anyone would like to make a donation by check, the address is on the screen below. Please make sure you write in the memo line that your donation is for the breakfast, because as we've mentioned, through the gracious matching gift donation of Don and Gail Redding and the Habitat board members, your gift will have double the impact today. I know that many of you are still typing, but if I could have your attention for just a moment, it's important that you really hear what I'm about to say. Whatever gift you have chosen to make today, we sincerely thank each and every one of you on behalf of the families we serve. And thank you all for the most important gift you gave today, the gift of your valuable time. All of us at Habitat genuinely appreciate that you took the time out of your busy lives to tune in this morning, to learn more about what we do in Washtenaw County. It allows us to serve more families. On behalf of our organization and the families we serve, thank you for joining us this morning as a supporter. Thank you for shopping and donating to the Restore. Thank you for volunteering your time. Thank you. You are helping us change lives and perspectives in our community. Together, with your support, we can continue to make a transformational impact on the families we serve and the community in which we live. Together, we are framing the future. If you have any questions and would like to join some of our staff immediately following the program this morning for a live conversation, please click on the Zoom link below. Thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.